G'day, Ben here from Maximum Profit. Welcome to this week's Weekly Whiteboard Wisdom. Today we're going to talk about what is a CRM and why you need a CRM. In fact, I'm going to give you my 7 tips, and I've heard many different iterations, but essentially it's a contact record management system. It's a piece of software that helps you manage your relationships with clients or contacts. It could also be a client relationship manager. I don't know exactly what it stands for, but let's put it this way. It's a database or a way for you to manage your relationships with people who are likely to become a customer or who have become a customer. And there's many different programs out there that you can use. Some are free all the way through to quite expensive, depending on what your needs are, what value you're going to get from those. So myself, I use a program called Infusionsoft. It's probably got too many bells and whistles for a lot of small businesses, but it's great for larger businesses or businesses with a bigger database and a sales team and a requirement to be able to manage things at a higher level. But if you are looking at just starting out, it could be something as simple as something like MailChimp with just email autoresponders. And you can get a free account with them even. Otherwise, it's quite a cheap account. But I'm going to give you my 7 reasons why I think every business should use a CRM, and you're going to learn why I think it's going to actually increase the value of your business. We'll get to that very, very shortly. All right, reason number 1, a CRM will help you capture all your leads. You know, if you think about days gone by, I know when I first started in my business, all my leads were captured on a bit of paper, or it might be business cards, and if you've got a drawer full of business cards, then you definitely need a CRM, because business cards on their own aren't going to help you manage your relationship with that person unless you flick through them on a regular basis, and that's super inefficient. And if you've watched any of my videos or know anything about what I teach and preach, I say that you've got to be efficient, you've got to be productive. So let's get rid of those business cards, let's put them all into some sort of a database system where we can communicate with them in a much more effective and efficient way to maximize your sales results, and of course minimize the amount of time you spend shuffling through business cards in your drawer. Really important. That's the first thing. So a good CRM should capture all of your leads. The second thing it'll do is that it'll help you keep records when you do have a conversation. And sometimes what I get told by my prospects when I'm talking to them is, geez, Ben, you have an amazing memory. I actually have a terrible memory. What I'm really good at is keeping notes. So if I talk to you and you say it's your son's soccer game this weekend, or it's your daughter's birthday, or it's you and your wife's anniversary, or you're having a baby, or whatever it might be, I'll actually make those notes in my CRM. So when I next make contact with you, I can read the notes before I pick the phone up, and it sounds like I've remembered a lot about you personally. Now, of course, that's a huge rapport builder. And in sales, rapport is a huge factor in how much somebody knows, likes, and trusts you. So if you can make sure you keep good notes, that way you can reiterate or regurgitate those things when you have your next conversation, and it shows your prospect that you were actually listening and you were interested in them. And they'll think you've got an amazing memory, but really what you've done is you've just been really good at keeping records. So that's my second reason why you would definitely have a CRM. My third reason is you can automate things. Now, I've already spoken about efficiency. I'm a big one for automating repetitive tasks. So if you've got things in your business that happen in a repetitive manner, now one of the things that should happen in a repetitive manner is the contact with your prospects. And a good CRM will allow you then to automate that contact process. So whether it's them opting in on your website for something, you can automate the lead details actually going into your CRM. It could be then having some sort of automation if they watch a video, or if they take some sort of an action, or let's say you call somebody and you can't get a hold, you leave a message for them. Some CRMs will allow you to automate the process to remind you in a few days to follow them up. You could automate sending them an SMS, for example, if you've tried to call them and you couldn't get a hold of them. So you know yourself, if you leave a voicemail, it's less likely to get through to them than if you send a text message. So you can automate a lot of those things. So a good CRM will let you automate a lot. Like I said before, those free ones or cheaper versions of CRMs won't let you do as much. They'll still let you do some in some cases, but certainly if you start getting up into things like ActiveCampaign or Infusionsoft or Ontraport, those more robust systems, you can automate a lot of your process, whether it's in sales or in marketing. So I'm a big fan of that. The fourth reason why I think having a CRM is paramount for any business is it will actually remind you to follow up. So instead of having to rely on your own memory, it's more about you now making sure that you have a system that taps you on the shoulder and says, hey, isn't it time you gave that person a call? And now, once again, some of this can be automated, depends on the system, or you might have to manually put it in there, but it's always good to have a reason, or a reminder rather, and a reason to call back somebody. So you get your reminder, you go back, you read the notes, you then remember what the reason was, and you can make that call. And it's going to make you much more productive, much more effective, and it's going to mean that you're going to increase your sales, because now you're actually making sure you follow up. And if you look at statistics of sales people, one of the main reasons people do not get sales is because they don't follow up on a regular basis. And I'm always of the thinking that if you don't make contact of some sort every month at a minimum with your prospects, they're going to forget who you are because it's a noisy world out there. So when I talk about follow-up, it doesn't have to be a call, it could be an email, it could be a text message, it could be you send something in the post, but at least a good CRM will remind you to do that. Reason number 5 is it'll help you nurture your leads. So one of the things that I think is really important in this day and age is that people are getting bombarded by a lot of information, and you want to make sure that you're the one that's being the most helpful. And we call this lead nurturing. So a good CRM will actually help you do this. The way that it does that is you can pre-program in a series of emails that are helpful. It might be checklists or tools or resources, articles, whatever it might be, that you send out on a predetermined schedule or calendar of timeline that you want to send these things out. And you can actually tailor them based on what that person needs. Some CRMs, you can actually say that person's interested in making more money, so we'll send them these emails. This person over here is interested in employing people, so you can send them these emails. So you can actually categorize them and group people inside your database and just send them the applicable emails. And once again, you can do this, I know you can do this with MailChimp, which is a very cheap starting point for a lot of small businesses. You can definitely do it with the more robust systems that I mentioned before, like your Infusionsoft, your Entreports, your Active Campaigns. And it's a great way for you to be able to then tailor your message and nurture your leads. So when they are ready, because obviously they weren't ready to buy from you in the beginning, but as you nurture them, they'll start raising their hand, and when they're ready, they'll start buying from you, which is cool. So that was reason number 5. Number 6, and this is a big one, a good CRM will help you track your results or your return on investment from your marketing. I see a big problem in small businesses, or small, medium businesses, any business in fact. I see a huge problem that people aren't tracking the return on investment they get from their marketing. So it's easy to go out there and spend thousands of dollars on marketing campaigns, but you want to know what's working and what's not. So you can do more of what is and less of what isn't. And a good CRM will allow you to go back and look at all the history of the people that have bought from you and what lead sources they came from. The more sophisticated systems will actually let you enter the data of the investment you made for that campaign and help you work out acquisition costs and cost per lead or cost per client, and then also things like lifetime value. It depends once again on the functionality of the system you use, but a good CRM or any CRM should allow you to have some basic functionality where you can track the effectiveness of your marketing. It's a big one. And then the 7th one is, I'm a great believer that a fantastic CRM will increase the value of your business. And you're probably wondering, well, why will it increase the value of my business? Well, I think there's a few different reasons, but the primary reasons that a good CRM will increase the value of your business when you go to sell it is, first of all, you've got systems and processes in place for converting your prospects into customers. And you'll have a bit of history there that you can show and demonstrate to a prospective buyer of your business or an investor that you actually have a predictable process in place for getting a client on board. I think that's the first thing. The second thing is you'll actually have an accurate database or an up-to-date database of prospective customers and customers. And so if someone was going to come to you and look at buying your business, for you to be able to say, here's a database of X number of thousand people that have shown some sort of an interest but haven't bought yet, and here's where they're at in their cycle of nurturing, here's the ones that have bought in the past but we're trying to get back. If you've got that database, that will increase the value of your business. And I think that a prospective buyer will look at that in a favourable manner, because now they've got a starting point. They're not going to have to sit there scratching their head wondering where the next customer is going to come from, because you'll have a list of people that they can go straight to market to and get great results. That's my 7 reasons why you need a CRM. So if you weren't using a CRM in your business, I highly recommend it. I don't sell CRMs. I wish I did, because in the next 10 years, every business is going to need one. But I can tell you now that you need to go and find yourself one if you want to be more effective in your business, you want to be more efficient, you want to get more sales, and you want to work less hours, so you too can go on holidays and enjoy wherever it is you like to go, because your business will be on autopilot whilst you're on holidays, which is pretty cool. All right, so just a reminder, if you haven't already been to one of my free workshops, I encourage you to head to businessfasttrack.com.au. I have free workshops and seminars on a regular basis throughout the year. You can grab a free ticket there. Seats are limited. We don't have these huge rooms. I typically only have 30 to 40 people attend these events. I like the more smaller, intimate groups where I can work with you a little bit more one-on-one. It's a 3-hour workshop where I take you through my 5-stage business acceleration blueprint. Now, I quite often get asked, Ben, why do you do these events for free? Are you going to sell me something? Well, no, I'm not going to sell you anything. I'm going to give you the opportunity, if you like to find out more, to enroll in one of my programs. Yes, it's really like a test drive. So you can think about, you wouldn't buy a car without test driving, or most people wouldn't. I'm a big believer that if you're thinking about getting some help to grow your business, to market your business, to scale your business, then this is your opportunity to come and meet me, come and see what it is that we're all about, so I can then help you make an informed decision. And if you love what you hear, then we can keep talking. If not, that's okay as well. No harm done. So until next time, have a very profitable day. Thank you.